Hey everyone, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Joe Merrick of Serebii.net to discuss the first two episodes of Pokémon Generations, The Adventure and The Chase. So, overall, what'd you think of this basically premiere, Joe?
I think it's a really good start. The way that episode 1 starts is really good. It hooks people in because it essentially gives people the story that they've lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was clever of them using Red as like the solitary character, because rather than it being Red, and I know a lot of people were going, oh, why did they use Red? Why didn't they use Gold in Johto? But it's like Red is like the personification of the player going from region to region to region to region to region.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that.
Yeah, it makes sense to make it simple, especially since obviously Red is not the focus of these shorts. The Adventure actually makes that quite clear by covering his face at all times, not really doing much with him, sort of keeping him hidden in that same way that the Pikachu shorts did before the movies, where you never really see Ash's face. The focus is on, in this case, Pikachu. And then in the second episode, Red's just not in it at all. He's sort of like this mythical figure that you just don't quite see a lot, which, I don't know, is oddly fitting.
Yeah, I mean, Red is just basically like... it's hard to find a comparison, but Red is just like an idol to everyone. It's like people want Red back in the games, people want Red to be in the anime where Ash is based on Red. Mm-hmm. Red is just like the character. Yeah,
and especially since Red has this air of just confidence and capability throughout him. Like he's not perfect, but he makes mistakes, but he's still a damn good trainer, and he's a trainer like the player would expect. Which is, I think, helps fitting. And they really did a good job of capturing that when they did Pokemon Origins. So I think that's why a lot of people have this love for Red. But I gotta say, it sucks that these are so short. But man, do I love them anyway. I think that's the only problem is I want more, you know. And we're gonna get these until December, but I'd say it's a solid start. I don't think anything blew my mind, but it was certainly a very solid start. I think probably the best moment for me out of all this was just that transition. Like, because I kept thinking when it first started, it's like, man, they are staying in this, like, we only have like less than 4 minutes, and they are staying in this Game Boy sequence for quite a while. It's cool, but I kind of saw them do this already with Pokemon Origins. And then that transition happened when he went to pick up the ball that contained Pikachu, and I'm like, oh my god, that's worth it. It was so beautifully done.
Yeah, I really agree. And I know a lot of people have been going, oh, it's just like I was watching a Let's Play. It's like, yeah, it's a great way to start the entire series. I mean, we don't know how exactly it's going to progress. I know a lot of people were thinking this was going to be the story of Red through many regions, and I know a lot of people were complaining about that. Mm-hmm. But I just really like it. And they went with the red and blue sprites, the American ones, rather than the Pokemon red and green ones. That makes me a bit sad, to be honest with you.
It kind of makes sense since, this is the American. I do wonder if the Japanese version would have, the red and green sprites instead. But either way, it's interesting start, and I think we are going to be going chronologically because I think Adventure is definitely set up to sort of like lay out all of the different regions because we do visit all 6 regions, and then the next episode features Looker and them basically hunting down Team Rocket, specifically Giovanni, which obviously takes place before the Elite Four battles, which we've already seen Blue taking on the other Elite Four members. So it does seem like, okay, here's all of our regions, here's our setup, and now we're going to go chronologically with all these side stories. At least that's the sense I get for how this series is going to be structured.
Yeah, I mean, that does make a lot of sense. I mean, with 20 years of legacy to go through, if you go like forwards and backwards, you could risk losing people's interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a very likely thing to happen. And I gotta say, I have already seen a lot of people complain about the design of Pikachu in the Adventure. And I don't mind it so much. I think it's definitely stylized and a bit different. People are just sort of used to the traditional design. And I kind of like this more animalistic version of Pikachu.
Yeah, it's the style changes. Style changes are always something which people really react strongly, typically against, as you can see with the Sun and Moon anime.
Mm-hmm.
But having it as like this cute thing, it's kind of a bit like the Pokemon Center artwork. Have you seen that? With the round heads and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a little bit like that, yeah. I think it works. I think it totally works, and it still strikes that balance. Like, this is still the same world as Pokemon Origins because the designs sort of match. They're more animalistic, and they don't have, they're not saying their name. This is completely different from the traditional anime, which helps. But I'd like to also offer up another title for the adventure. It should be called Legendaries Hate Pikachu. Because, my God, they try to kill that little thing over and over again. Like, he's fighting Caterpie, and all of a sudden Zapdos shows up. He's fighting Wooper, and all of a sudden Lugia decides to swoop in for no apparent reason. Like, why is Lugia in Equitique City? The best one was definitely, like, Regigigas popping up. It's like, okay, you guys are disturbing me. Just get the hell out.
Yeah, I was sleeping. You're so loud.
Oh, boy. But, yeah, what was it like for you to see them go through each region to these well-known areas and see these battles? Because I gotta say, the battles were really cool, and it was actually really cool to see Pikachu get stronger as he went through these regions.
Yeah, that's something you don't see a lot. It shows the progression. You should get the progression in the games, but like in the main anime, because it's so long, like the XY saga's at over 140 episodes now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see the progression because it's a lot more gradual, but here, because it's really short, you can fully see it, and you can fully see it get smarter and use things like taking up the stone slab to protect against the move from Volcarona.
Yeah. I love that sequence. That was like really clever and just really cool to see. I think that was probably my favorite action beat of the whole thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, although I know a lot of people who say that the anime needs to be a bit more like the games. If they then say, oh yeah, this is amazing, I'm like, you're a hypocrite.
No, you gotta buffer it up. If you're going to have the something like the games where it's, okay, now you attack, okay, now you attack, okay, now you attack. It just doesn't work.
That would be boring.
Yeah, you can have somewhat of the same structure, but you still need to have it be dynamic and interesting, and we're certainly seeing that. And I mean, we certainly see Pokemon used in very different ways in Episode 2, The Chase.
Yeah. I really liked Episode 2. It kind of reminded me of like a detective noir story, especially the way it was narrated by Looker.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder if they're going to continue doing that, like having like specific different narrative styles to each of the movie. Well, not movies, each of the shorts.
Mm-hmm. Have
it like, maybe there'll be one which is like a comedy.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that. It's very interesting, and it's also interesting seeing Team Rocket be like a legitimate threat. You're not used to that, and it's kind of odd. But to see like this Team Rocket grunt have so much faith in Giovanni that he's not giving up information on it at all, and you can just see the charisma and seeing how the police is spying on Giovanni and learning more about him. It's like it is this kind of this cool like almost heist movie type feel.
Yeah.
Boy, is it weird to see the game corner look like a casino.
Yeah, well, that's what it is, isn't it?
That is true, but just seeing like a traditional casino appearance, it's like, is that the game corner? And then they said, I was like, oh my goodness. Seeing it different. But I did like the little notes. It's like the police aren't, are there in the Pokemon world. They just took a little longer for Red to get it done.
Yeah, and I really like how this sort of ties in with the games. Like with Looker, a lot of people would be saying, why is Looker there? Looker came in Pokemon Platinum, then appeared in the later games. But it's like, in the SS Anne, in Red and Blue, there's someone who says, I'm a member of the International Police, I'm on the trail of Team Rocket. And like, Looker's the International Police, so there we go.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to just pop him right in there.
Yeah. And now we can see how Giovanni got out, and we even see him put on the outfit. We then see him in Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Which is really cool. Like, this is definitely a love letter to the games, and the canon of the games. Really, no, it was kind of crazy to see like. They got like this holster with Pokeball in it to bring out Pokemon, and Arcanine melting through that wall. I'm like, good God, how are you even going to get through that wall? Like, yeah, you open up the way for you, but you're not going to be touching that, that's for sure.
Yeah, Arcanine doesn't seem like the best Pokemon to do that. I mean, Machamp, yeah, that makes sense, but Arcanine, it's like, crazy.
Yeah, just a little bit. Like, I'm pretty sure we just could have killed a man, but fortunately it's all been cleared out. Oh boy, but yeah, it was great to see like Looker get into the gym and just find that scorch mark. So I was like, is this going to be a little different? And then they had that whole thing where like two young boys or two trainers defeated Giovanni, and then he disappeared. And it's like, okay, that's some cool mythology building right there.
Yeah, absolutely. What I do like is how basically we've seen most of what was in the trailer we got as well.
Yeah, we did. Other than the blue stuff, the blue stuff, and then the stuff with the legendary dogs. I think we've seen most of it, which is really cool.
So basically, everything we're going to get every week until Christmas is going to be surprising.
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. I'm very curious what kind of stories they're going to tell. Obviously, I mean, the one I want most, and the one I know I've seen a lot of other people want a lot, is Gold versus Red on Mount Silver. Now, granted, with them showing the adventure with Red going all over, it doesn't exactly make sense for him to be hanging out on Mount Silver anymore, but it's still like that battle that everybody would love to see animated.
Yeah, and there's no reason to say that it won't happen. Red could be there during his travels.
That is true. It'd be, I don't know, I think that'd be just really cool to finally see that animated. Because it is such an iconic moment in Pokemon.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm not sure which moment I'd like, but it does make me wonder. As you say, we might be going through sequentially, and we will have, 4, 5, maybe 6 episodes after Sun and Moon is released.
That is true. That would be wild if they decided to animate some things from Sun and Moon. I don't know if it'll happen.
But it would be a good way to end it, get some Ultra Beasts going on.
That is true. Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Now, what do you think of them actually showing Zygarde 100% in Terminus Cave rather than the traditional just Zygarde?
Now, that is very interesting. It makes me think maybe there was going to be a Pokemon Z and this was commissioned when there was going to be a Pokemon Z, but it's also probable that it wasn't. It's weird, but Zygarde is like essentially a tie to Sun and Moon right now. Mm-hmm. So what it could have been seen is there's like some sort of transition. I mean, having 50% form would have worked, but having complete form, it just gives it makes it feel more modern. That
is true, and I do think Zygarde is quickly becoming one of the favorites as far as legendaries are concerned. It's certainly jumped up in esteem, in my opinion, just because of the anime.
Yeah, it has become one of my top favorite Pokemon, and I even have a Zygarde core plush on my desk right now.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's these are only 4 minutes short, so it's not a whole lot to say about them. But I gotta say, it is off to a good start.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, with it being a short time, I was a bit hesitant over it. I was like, how will they get some decent quality going? Mm-hmm. I mean, with other shorts, like with the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire one we got before launch, and the Black 2 and White 2 one, it was pretty cool, but you never really got much development. It was just like, here's a scene, here's a scene, here's a scene. And while the adventure was a bit like that, it's likely that the rest of the episodes are going to be more like the Looker one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Looker was. I'm glad they showed both, because I would have been kind of underwhelmed if it was only the adventure. By having Looker in there, we have a better idea of what exactly the structure of Generations is going to be, and just having them be short stories like this, I think, is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, and basically what they said is that some of these are going to be the unseen story. Like the Looker one, that was definitely an unseen story. And so they could fill in so many gaps here.
Oh man, that'd be amazing.
I'd be so happy with some of them. Like, Serebii in the Ilex Forest.
Ooh, that'd be a good one. They've already set up Giovanni.
Exactly.
So, oh man, I don't know. I am excited. I'm still very excited for the potential of Generations, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's definitely a fantastic way to round off the 20th anniversary year, because it's going to go up all the way to the first penultimate week of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just gives you something to look forward to at the end of every week.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it's crazy how well they've celebrated the 20th anniversary. I think they've just about nailed it on all fronts.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, although I'm a bit grumpy about no Detective Pikachu episode 2.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't say it was perfect. Just doing a good job. Certainly better than Metroid.
Metroid's had a fantastic anniversary.
Oh, totally. I mean, there's just been all kinds of celebrations there. Alright, I think that covers it for our Pokemon Generations discussion, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Joe, where can they find you at?
At Serebii.net, or on Twitter at Joe Merrick or SerebiiNet.
Awesome. And if you guys like this little discussion about each Generations episode, we'll definitely continue to do more. Let me know in the comments, and of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Pokemon and other things gaming too. Until next time, bye.